So I'm going to talk a bit about the Vanguard in a video. I did a previous video but it didn't really work out how I wanted it. I try and make it new player friendly generally. That is talking about things in a bit of a detail, which if for some people it probably get annoying, but I'm just trying to see it from a new player perspective. He's talking about engineer. Okay. Pro tip from that guy. Anyway, so yeah, this is called the equipment terminal. That over there is the Bastion terminal. I'm just talking about terminals real quick, just so you can, if you're a new player, you understand. This is the Bastion terminal. This is a massive ship in the sky. You use this for pulling a massive ship. Generally, outfits will do that. You won't do that. This is the equipment terminal where you go for your character. This is the world terminal. You can access the map from here. And oh yeah, I'll just show you real quick. So VR here, you can access any tank upgrade for free. You could just test it out, and for anything, for tank, guns, top guns, etc. Obviously, vehicle, infantry terminal, equipment terminal, obviously tank, picture of a tank. Now this is Colossus. This would be pulled by an outfit. You won't be pulling it. You won't be pulling that. That requires an active outfit to man it as well. You don't see them very often, but they are there. Obviously they're air terminals, and you've got more vehicle terminals. And what you want to do, you want to go to the vehicle terminal with the thing on top, and you want to go to the Vanguard. Now there's another thing I want to show you that I'm going to briefly talk about, and that's engineer loadout. You're going to need to have a good engineer loadout for vehicle. Now obviously engineer has the tool to repair vehicles. I'll show you that more later, but for now let's just talk about the Vanguard. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what gun, front gun you're going to need. The reason being, you're going to need a good, it depends what you want to do. Generally you pull a tank to kill other vehicles. You don't pull them to kill infantry. It's not really what you do. You might put a top gun on top that kills infantry, but generally I always find that the AP is a good all-round for vehicles, for fighting vehicles. Hesh and Heat are more for infantry, which is good if that's what you want to do, but generally I always go for the AP, always. Now if you decide to pick the AP, or basically you're going to go for the 2x optics. It's kind of a given really, because you need to know what you're shooting at, or see what you're shooting at rather. Night vision and threat detection, I've tried them out, but the problem with them is they've not got range on them, and generally you find yourself hitting tanks from a distance. So you've got a couple of other ones you could pick, like 1x5, etc. But I just ended up in the long run buying the 2x optics. You want to get max reload as quick as you can. That enables you to joust with other tanks. If you've got a max reload and the enemy doesn't have that, then you will outgun them. If you hit every shot and they miss a few, or they hit you, but if you're hitting them quicker, you're going to kill them obviously. That's my reasoning behind max reload. So yep. Ammo capacity, I didn't max that out. Now the reason I didn't max that out is because if you go down to click on the vehicle, infantry terminal, go down, there's an implant that gives you ammo. So it's an ammo printer. So I think every minute, is it? Yeah, 60 seconds. So yeah, works in vehicles, max, Unix, etc. So that's the vehicle thing. I'll talk about that more later. So right now, let's go back to the Vanguard. So I haven't maxed ammo capacity. Now on American server, maybe you would max it a bit more, put more into it. I just never see it as an investment really. I can always go and get ammo if I need it. I will say those things there, as you can see, those towers, Their ammo vehicle towers, you can go to them and refill your ammo. Now let's have a quick look on the map. So as you can see, ammo vehicle dispenser, ammo vehicle. Now at certain bases, so there's the vehicle terminal and there's the ammo vehicle ammo dispenser. So yeah, so every base has one of them and you can refill your ammo. Obviously having the ability to hold more ammo is good. So as you can see here, ammo capacity, so I can hold more. I don't generally need that. I don't need a massive amount of ammo really. I can survive on very limited ammo. I just keep refilling it. So that's generally what I would pick. Titan 150 AP. I wouldn't really pick the Hesh or the heat. I mean, if you're going to stick with the heat, like you could max reload on it, and you could put. I mean, I put a 1x25 on. I did mainly use it for killing infantry, and ammo capacity I had that very. Now this is when I first started. I generally upgraded to the Titan AP as quick as I could because I wanted to kill vehicles, because that's generally why you pull a tank. You've got other things that you could pull, like a Sunderer to kill infantry, or a Vanguard is really useful for tank-on-tank warfare. So I've talked about the Titan AP. There's really nothing else to say about it. The heat and the Hesh, obviously, talked about them. But any questions about it, feel free to pop them down in the comments. I'm going to talk briefly about top guns. Now, the Cobalt is an infantry gun. You're going to be pulling the Cobalt primarily for infantry. You don't really use it for anything else. You could shoot at harassers with it, but generally infantry is its strong point really. You could shoot at some air targets, maybe like a mosquito or a scythe. They're not like really strong against air. They won't kill things like they won't shoot other tanks. You can't kill another tank, and you can't shoot a Liberator with it. The Backlist is what you get as a start-off weapon. It's really strong. It's not too bad at all, really. What you want to be doing with the Backlist is equipping it when you are coming into situations where you don't know what you're going to face. If you're primarily going against infantry, you're going to need the Cobalt. It can also burn harassers. Generally, infantry is its strong point. The Backlist is good at all things, so it can shoot air, ground, and infantry. You would generally pick it when you're unsure what you're going to face. So the G30 Walker is something that you would pull to kill air, really. You can kill tanks with it as well. You can burn tanks, and you can shoot infantry. But the problem with the G30 Walker is it doesn't have good. So let me show you. Let me just pull one real quick. So as you can see, the depression on it is terrible. I can shoot things from long range, but going down and doing that is terrible. So let me go back to the. Someone's pulled a Galaxy. Nice. Oh, nice. Awesome. Actually looks pretty cool, not gonna lie. And that's a Liberator for anyone who doesn't know. Now these guns can burn Liberators. Now I'm not going to shoot at my own Liberator, but you could shoot things in the sky and burn the crap out of them. So yeah. Another thing to note as well, this gun, as you can see, it turns the like electric colour. That's because it's giving it health and repairing it. It's kind of like the repair grenade. If you took a repair grenade over there, so as you can see, that will start repairing. Now you can lob it on and go like that and drive off. It might get you out of situations. I'll talk about that more in a second. Let's carry on talking about top guns real quick. So Vanguard top guns, you've got the G30 Walker. It's not got good depression. So just one thing to note really, if infantry come right close to you like this, like you haven't got the gun depression to shoot them. Same with this, you don't have the gun depression. So you're going to have to keep moving back. Now this is useful at shooting infantry. It's a good all-rounder, but the depression is bad. Like, if you've got harasser that keeps coming right up close to you, you're going to struggle to deal with him using the walker. Now, let me just go back into here real quick. Vanguard. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to click that. So G30 Walker is good at everything really. You mainly pick it for air targets, but you could kill harassers with it and other tanks. But generally, if you face a lot of harassers, you're going to need the Enforcer, or the M96 is really useful. So the Enforcer is really good, really strong at the moment. You would mainly use it to kill other vehicles. There's not much you can say about it really. I would just pick it really if you're going vehicle hunting. The Ranger is what you would use to kill air. It's just an air only kind of weapon really. It has burst. It's kind of like burst damage, so you like flak damage. So you fire at enemy air. Now it does a hell of a lot of damage to them. This can also kill them, kill enemy air as well. But this is primarily, so I pick this normally when I'm running solo and I've got a mosquito chasing me. I won't be able to kill the mosquito, but I can damage him. So that's one thing to note. You will struggle generally against liberators. Liberators will kill you regardless whether you've got this on top or not. But if a liberator is damaged and you're shooting at it, you might be able to kill it with this. But generally, if I've got somebody gunning for me, it just gives me a bit of protection from air targets keep shooting me. If you start firing at a liberator, he might just run off, and then it gives you breathing room to just get into cover or whatever. So you've got the Enforcer, which is good. It's good versus harassers. This is good, a good anti-vehicle weapon as well. This will be mainly for sniping, so long range engagements. It's good at medium to long range. You can do quite a lot of damage. The boombox M96 is what you would pick for close range engagements. Now, very useful, very good at taking out harassers and vehicles in general. You have to be close to medium range to use it. You can't snipe tanks with this across the map, it's not going to work. You can volley shots over there, but generally it's not going to work. You'd rather pick something like this or the Enforcer. So, canister is a good close range weapon. It can damage harassers, it can damage anybody getting close to your tank really. It's good versus light assault. Obviously Cobalt is good versus light assault, but this will damage light assault. So if a light assault's trying to jump on your tank, it will kill it. Generally, any questions on these guys, feel free to leave them down in the comments. The Backlist is a good all-rounder as a first start off. What I did was bought the 1x5 and ammo capacity. I've got that up a bit. Now the reason behind this is because if I've got a Backlist gunner, they're using a lot of ammo, mainly to shoot at, like, suppress the enemy. So if they're behind a hill or something, you might start shooting at them. Now it's not guaranteed to hit at long range on all the time on infantry. Yeah, I would need something like this, but the reason I would pick this is if I've got vehicles coming at me, harassers and such, it just gives me a bit of protection really. So yeah, I haven't bought the canister yet. I really want to buy that actually, but I just didn't have the certs really, because I'm saving up some certs. But yeah, so that's really it for Top Guns. There's not much I can talk about. Now, what I will say, what I wanted to say at the start of the video but didn't really get a chance, spawning a vehicle. So as you can see, we're at Warpgate now. Now to spawn a tank, you would need to go to a big base. So let's have a look on the map, see. So the tech plant, for example, Eliza tech plant, you could spawn a vehicle there. You could spawn a vehicle here. So let's go to a random base. So to go to bases, I've clicked the map and then I've clicked redeploy. So if we go here quickly, actually let's go to, let's go to here real quick. It has a countdown for some reason. Yeah, I know a lot of new players are coming into the game and really confused. If you have any questions and you see me in game, feel free to send me a whisper. Don't hesitate. I'll try and help you out. So anyway, we spawned at a random base, as you can see. It's just a random base on the map. Now it's a small base, relatively small base. Now you can't spawn a or you shouldn't be able to spawn a Vanguard from here. It's only large bases that enable you to spawn a Vanguard. So let me just have a quick look, real quick. So yeah, you can't spawn a Vanguard. You can only spawn a Lightning, which is a light tank. Now, if you went to a big base, let's go to a big base real quick. So something like this. Madison's Triumph is quite a big base. So let's just spawn it real quick. I don't know why it gives me a countdown, but still. So here, you go down to the vehicle terminal and it should be able to spawn a Vanguard. There's only one vehicle terminal, but still. So yeah, as you can see, Vanguard. It enables you to spawn a Vanguard. Now that's because I'm at a 3-point base, which is quite a big base. Here you've got a 3-point base as well. And here is a biolab, so you could spawn them at biolabs. And here, obviously, tech plant. You could spawn them at the tech plant. Gonna shut my door real quick. So yeah, as you can see, you spawn them at tech plant. So most big bases you can spawn a Vanguard. I'm just gonna go back to warp gate real quick. So let's have a quick look. So yeah, anyway, so I'll just go back to Vanguard real quick. So spawning a Vanguard is something that you can do on larger bases. Spawning it on smaller bases won't work. Or you could spawn it from the HQ building, which is obviously the warp gate. This is what we're in right now. Now it's called the warp gate because it has a shield around it. This is the base that you start at normally. I'm sorry if I go around this the long way. I'm just trying to give it a new player perspective because new players coming into the game don't understand half the stuff you talk about in videos, or when you start talking lingo. I went to the warp gate once. They're like, what's the warp gate? What's he on about? So just trying to give it, just trying to look at it from a new player really. So yeah, going back to the Vanguard. So Titan AP, backlist is good as a first start off weapon. It's not terrible. If you're fighting mainly air targets, you can use the Ranger. The G30 Walker is really good at killing vehicles and air. It can kill infantry, but it doesn't have good depression on. Generally, I would pick, as a top gun, I would pick this one, or the backlist. Now obviously the Cobalt is really cheap, but I find these to be the most useful. So this is useful, and the Enforcer. The Enforcer is really good right now, and I would recommend getting that over most things. Really, that's a nice start-off weapon. But I'd just stick with the backlist. Really, if you're short on certs, I wouldn't go wasting your money on stuff like this. You're going to need a top gunner most of the time when you're gunning. When you're using a tank, you're going to need a gunner. It's just the way it is. You can't always get one on series because people just don't seem to want a gun for you for some reason. They seem to go on strike when you come online. Oh, I don't want to go for you. So yeah. So going back to it, yeah, we've got these two. I've talked about them. I'm going to talk about the Vanguard forward shield. Well, I'm going to talk about slots now that the Vanguard can have. So generally, you want to pick the Vanguard shield. It's the most OP thing, really, for the Vanguard. That's what makes the Vanguard useful. So let me just deploy real quick. So here you've got the Vanguard. When you're in combat, you will press down and it will enable the Vanguard shield. This will enable you to put on a shield that, so when the enemy's shooting at you, you will generally activate it. It will reduce the damage taken from enemy incoming rounds. That's tank rounds, air rounds, whatever really. So let's just have a quick look again. So forward Vanguard shield is what you would use. You don't need fire suppression or smoke screen. You could use them, but Vanguard shield is generally the one to go for. So chassis, racer high speed chassis is good for getting you out of situations. So you can basically hightail it out of there. You could drive the tank like you stole it really. But generally, rival combat chassis for me is the thing I use. This is because if you look at the tank, get in the tank. Now, I'm generally not so fussed about driving around really fast with the high-speed racer chassis. But what I tend to do is turn really fast. So I'll turn towards the enemy. So if the enemy's over there, I'll turn and keep my front facing forward. Obviously the Vanguard shield works if you're facing forward, and it also works if they hit you from the side. It doesn't work, however, if you've got your back towards the enemy in the tank. They will just absolutely smash you to pieces. Now, with that said, you want to have the Vanguard shield, obviously. That's why I was saying it's really useful. And also, just go back to it, rival combat chassis to max. Now obviously it gives me good rotation speed, and I rotate generally to fight the enemy. Vehicle stealth is useful as well. So going back to it, Vanguard shield is always a must. Rival combat chassis I find really good. If you use racer high speed chassis, it's more to get out of there, so it has good acceleration. So if you're being shot at, you could just basically hightail it out of there. But generally I'll just pick rival combat chassis as a solo player, because I'm trying to defend myself. I can't exactly go running off around the map, because they'll just follow you and start shooting you. So yeah, so this one's quite situational, most of these that you pick. So generally vehicle stealth is what I use 90% of the time. This is because I'm soloing as a tanker. I'm not in a group, or I know that on the USA server they have armor columns. You don't get many armor columns on ceres. It does happen from time to time. People do group up. Generally what you want to do is pick vehicle stealth if you're soloing. So that's a good thing to have. Now obviously I've maxed it, put my extra certs into it. I wouldn't feel the need to max it right off the bat, but yeah, it is really useful for solo, generally because you don't want the enemy to know where you are, and you can sneak around the back of tanks and shoot them. Flanker armor is good versus C4. I mainly pick it when I'm going into close quarters situations. So if I'm at a base, for example, and if I'm at like probably an amp station or something, and I'm near the gate of the amp station, I'm going to get C4 light assault coming at me and trying to destroy me. So yeah, flanker armor is really useful for that. You can also pick flanker armor for air to ground missiles. So flanker armor and primarily ranger is really useful. But I don't use it as much as I should. But I have maxed it out just basically for the C4 to stop myself from getting blown up by the C4. Mine guard is really useful against mines. You generally use it if you're the front tank, or the tank that's leading the way. Now, in an armor column, you might have a Sunday or a tank that leads. This with mine guard, just to generally destroy the mines if there's mines down. I saw on PC there was an armor column, and they had a couple of vehicles with mine guard going front or taking the lead, and if they got destroyed or if they got injured, they would just fall back, and somebody else with mine guard would take the front, and they would just repair with the repair Sundays. It's kind of an organisation thing. Generally, to to have this, you would generally be organised in an armour column. Proximity radar is good. I don't use it though. I do have it on my USA account. It's generally what you would use the proximity radar for is you would equip it with probably a cobalt for infantry, and you would be able to spot infantry and shoot them. So that's useful. But generally, you pick a tank to fight enemy armour. So I always find vehicle stealth and flanker armour the go-tos really. So nanite auto repair, I have that on my USA account. Now what that means, or what it means to you, if you're in an armour column and you're being repaired, nanite auto repair when you're not being shot at will start repairing automatically. This means that while someone's repairing you, you're also getting nanite auto repaired. So you're getting repaired twice basically, so you're able to repair faster. Vehicle stealth and flanker armour is good, but nanite auto repair is more for vehicle columns. So you might take flanker armour to survive a little bit longer, but nanite auto repair is really good at repairing you fast and getting you back in the fight. So Nimitz reactor I do not use. I just don't use it. I asked about it a couple of times to people, and most of the tank drivers don't use it. They can repair quicker than actually, because it takes off 20% health and has faster regen shield. So I'm just going to go away from this chat just because. Let's go over here a sec. So yeah, Nimitz reactor, it takes off health and puts it into a shield, and then it will regen the shield over time. The reason I don't use it is because I can get out and repair quicker. If I've got a top gunner and myself, we can come out and repair obviously the tank. It is what it is. So yeah, that's about it really for slots on a tank. Now I'm going to briefly talk about a loadout, tanker's loadout. So yeah, I've covered it really. There's nothing really else to say. Down here is just so you can have different types of camo and all the rest of it. You can put a decal on if you really want to. Doesn't really matter. Here you could put something on the front of it. I mean, yeah, each to their own. I'm going to leave all that to your imagination really, because obviously you can put whatever you want on. Now it costs real money because you're using daybreak cash. It's not something I do, but yeah. Now this, talking about this, now obviously you can buy things with daybreak, and it looks pretty cool. But here, bruiser plating. Now you get that from Sanctuary. Now, I can't get into Sanctuary for some reason. It seems to be bugged. But generally, go to Sanctuary, go to one of the vendors. You can buy. So let me just show you real quick. So you can buy types of armor, composite armor. So like this, for example, this is a composite armor. You can get that for free with merit points. Now you can also buy bruiser plating at a certain rank. I think it enables you to get it. I got it from the continent alert. Now that's what it looks like without the bruiser plating on. That's what it looks like with it. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't make a big difference. It's just more cosmetic, really. It doesn't affect how you play the tank. All these here just are basically for looks. They don't do anything else other than that, really. So yeah, some of them look pretty good, I'm not going to lie. Nice, got a sail on. Looks pretty cool. But yeah, so they're cosmetics. They don't affect how you play, and the enemy doesn't affect the enemy either. It doesn't make you less of a target or more of a target. It doesn't really matter. So I'm not going to talk about them. Now, I've talked about everything on the Vanguard really. If there's any questions, feel free to message down below. If anything I've missed. Generally, in a tank, I pull a tank to kill another tank, is generally what I do. So I'm going to briefly talk about loadouts really. So generally as a loadout you're going to need an engineer. And obviously combat medic is obviously he heals infantry and picks people up off the ground when they've been shot and stuff like that. Now obviously an engineer is like the tank equivalent of this guy. Now he does vehicles mainly. So engineer is more vehicle based. Obviously his tools are kitted out for anti-vehicle. So obviously you've got like Spitfire turret, nano repair grenade, tanks and stuff like that, tank mines. So generally if you're making a vehicle loadout you want to max your nanite armor kit. This enables you to repair the vehicle quicker without stopping, so that's pretty useful. I'm just going to pull a tank real quick. Vanguard. Now I'll put this enforcer on just to show you the enforcer. So the enforcer has got, you know, okay. Now generally you pick the enforcer to kill enemy armor, and it's really good, really strong. Now, that's not the reason I picked, but I'll just try to show you that while I've got it out. Now the reason why I wanted to show you, so if you do that, it sends it a different colour. That gives it health and regens it. And obviously you can chuck a repair grenade on there and it will start repairing it. Now that's when it's obviously damaged. You can chuck a repair grenade off and drive off with it on if you need to get into cover. Generally, if you drive forward and jump out, the vehicle will carry on driving forward. That helps to get into cover. So generally what you want to do is, say you're being shot at by the enemy and you need to get into cover, but you're near enough on fire, you can jump out like that and then heal it from a distance like that. So that's kind of strange, but yeah. So you just keep driving forward, you press square to get out, hold down square and you just jump out and it'll carry on driving forward. Now what I wanted to show you as well is, so let me go into infantry real quick. So you have a Spitfire turret. Now the reason why you equip, now obviously as a new player you're not going to have this because it costs 1,000 certs to buy, but I'm just going to show you anyway, just regardless. So you put the Spitfire turret down like that, you wait for it, oh, just let me go outside the, one sec. So just wait for the Spitfire turret. So what you could technically do is put the Spitfire turret down here. Say you're on a hillside and you're looking over there to shoot the enemy. Now what this does is, if somebody comes near your tank, it's an early warning system for you. So that's generally what people use it for. You can leave it up while you're in a tank, it's fine, it doesn't do anything. If the enemy comes, it will start shooting at them. That will give you prime time to just drive off. Generally people just drive off and get another vantage point to shoot the enemy from, because you get light assaults with C4 that try and blow you up. So yeah, so let me just go back over here real quick. So we've talked about the Spitfire turret and why it's useful as a tanker. There's other things you can use like anti-vehicle, but generally Spitfire turret is just an early warning system for you. You could use anti-vehicle miner turret, but if you're in a tank, you're not going to be getting out and using this. Really, a hard light barrier is useless in a tank. Nano repair grenade is probably your go-to. Frag grenade, sticky grenade don't really do much in a vehicle. Tank mines, obviously very useful. Mine carrier is what I use. I maxed out mine carrier just because I take mines everywhere and lay them down. I'm trying to go for the mine directive to get my Araxian mines. It's really random, but yeah. If you don't know what that is, that's basically a directive where if you get so many kills with the tank mines, you get Araxian tank mines. It doesn't give you anything, just gives you a directive just to say you've done it. Let me have a look real quick. I don't actually know. Infantry, is it? Explosives, I think. Yeah, so here you got explosives. So I get a Raxium C4. My tank mines, I've got 1,155, and I need 1,160. So I'm really close. But yeah. So generally, that's what I do. That's why I've got mines now. Obviously, mines are useful for putting their vehicle entry points. So if someone's going to spawn a vehicle, they'll hit your mines and blow themselves up. Generally, I use the Punisher because it's got good anti-vehicle, underbarrel. That's really it. You want a max nano armor kit. So yeah, somebody's shooting me over here.
Reloading.
I'm just going to go to my tank real quick. There's only got 2 minutes left. Drive over here a bit. So let's have a look at infantry. So yeah, obviously the Bruiser is a shotgun. That's something I get as ASP. You're not going to get that as a new player, but I'm just ASP is something that you get at level rank 100, and you can. I get shotgun secondary. I've talked about it in a previous video, so I'm not going to go there. But yeah, nanite armor kit. You want to get that to max. And obviously I use caltrops or hard light canopy. Hard light canopy for a sunderer is really good. You can protect your sunderer from air and. But generally, what I want to talk about is these. Now, ammo printer is really useful because with ammo printer, you're going to want to get ammo for your tank. Now, every 60 seconds, it will spawn some ammo for you. It will spawn it out of thin air, basically, but it restocks your ammo, so that's really useful. It can do it on characters as well, like light assaults or whatever, but generally I use it for vehicles to restock the ammo. So sweeper hood is also something that I use. Target range is displayed on your crosshair, but the main reason you use it is to find enemy mines. So if, for example, someone's mine... Oh, okay. I'll just go outside a sec. So say for example, somebody mines this area here, like this. Now normally you can't see them because you're not in line of sight. You can't see the mines, but you will see a little dot come up above them, as you can see, because they're showing us friendly mines. Now they show us a red symbol when you have Minesweeper equipped. So that enables you to see mines. Now what you can do when you see the mines, you can run up to them and you can disintegrate them using your tool, or you can just shoot them like this and it will destroy the mines. So that's why you would use Sweeper Hood. Sweeper Hood is probably the go-to as a vehicle player, just because explosives will kill you, do a ton of damage. Another thing to note, that you can also supply ammo at these towers. Now, let me just shoot a weapon off. So you hear that sound, that means it will resupply ammo. Yep, there you go. So that's the one thing to note. Every base has one of these. You just got to find it. You can look on the map. The vehicle ammo dispenser, as you can see, vehicle ammo dispenser. Now let's go to a random base. So there's one here, vehicle ammo dispenser, and that's it. So you're going to need a good vehicle loadout. Now obviously as a new player you're not going to have tank mines because they cost quite a lot to buy or can do. C4 is another good thing. I've seen people use C4 a lot. But generally tank mines I always use. I don't tend to use much else. If I haven't got tank mines or C4 explosive, if I'm new, I just take a medical kit. a level 1 medical kit just to get me out of the situation really. And then that's it really. There's not much else to talk about as an engineer really. There's various loadouts you can take, but that's just to give you a general idea of a basic loadout. So there is another one, ransack. Killing an enemy vehicle within 25 meters restores 1 tick of ammunition. So if you're killing vehicles a lot, you have to keep killing vehicles a lot in order to get good ammunition. I always just find that ammo printer is better, because if you're shooting at enemy targets and you're missing, you're just not going to you're not going to replenish your ammo. Pardon me. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Any questions, feel free to pop them down. I don't think I've missed anything really in the video. I know the last video I made, I missed a couple of things and then I had to edit it, and I ended up editing 2 lots in. I'm not a YouTuber, don't subscribe to me or anything. I do this as a kind of a little thing to help the new players. I know there's a lot of new players coming into the game and I'm just trying to help them along. If you see me in game, my name is Commando. To drop me a whisper, if you go into the chat and you look for my name, so say, Ares isn't my name, but obviously you could whisper Ares. You just have to press triangle on somebody's name. So obviously I can send him a message. I'm not going to send him a message, but just saying, yep. So yep, guys, I'll end the video there and I'll